What's up? How you doing? Here I am with my daughter Amanda.
Hi.
And got a couple of pumpkins here. Pumpkins have gone up in price. I mean, it's not that crazy, but what are these, like $14 each?
13.
$13 each. In the old days, you could buy the whole pumpkin patch for $13. Now each one is 13.
I mean, it's what the weight is now.
Yeah. So, I have here a barbershop scented candle. And this smells really good. See that?
It smells nice.
It smells really good. It reminds me of the barbershop at the end when they would cut your hair, shave your neck with the straight edge, and then they would add a little bit of that fragrance. See, that's what it smells like. And me, I'm a big fan of the barbershop. I like the old-fashioned ones from the old days.
Is this a new one?
Pull it out. So I used to have a schedule years ago. Every first of each month, maybe even the second, depends, but usually the first of each month I would get a haircut. Now, I postpone sometimes, and you know, I'm not as on time as I used to be when it comes to those things. So we have the two pumpkins here.
This one's mine. That one's Isabella's.
And I have some Lipton tea, which I love, and I'm gonna make some. Have my favorite cup. And this has not been opened yet. Now they individually wrap them, so it's fresh. It's only fresh this one time, and then after that, you know, air gets in. So today is a beautiful Saturday, perfect temperature, humidity is low. No breeze. I mean, there's a slight west to east breeze, but very, very slight. Maybe like 1.3 miles per hour. So the tea is ready, as evidence from the steam. I'm gonna put this pumpkin down below. Yeah, that one out. Yeah, I love the old barbershops. You'd go in there, they had these big mirrors, then they'd jack you up a little bit. If you were a little bit short, they'd make you higher, and they put that nice cloth around you like you were ready to do some baking. And my favorite was when they had 50,000 items on the shelves, and you would sit there because you don't want to be looking at yourself constantly. You know, it's almost like you're judging the barber before his job is done. So I always preferred to have little bottles of talc, little bottles of cologne, aftershave, soap, shaving cream, lotion, all that stuff. And my favorite was the straight edge. They'd pull out the leather strap and then shave your neck with that warm shaving cream from that machine. I want to buy one of those machines. Nice warm lather would come out. They'd apply it strategically on your neck, around your ear area, and then they'd shave you down. And sometimes they even say, "Would you like a shave?" And sometimes I say, "Sure." So anyway, put the tea in here.
Wow, it's done already? That was fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting better. we let it seep. I'm not one of those people, you know, a lot of old timers, they put the tea bag in and it sits in there for like 5-6 seconds and they pull it out. And I used to have a neighbor who would use these tea bags multiple times.
That's gross.
I've never, hold on. I've never used tea bags multiple times. I use them once. I get as much out of them as possible and then I toss them. But a lot of people that grew up during the Great Depression, they feel like they have to conserve tea.
Boston Tea Party.
Huh? And I find, you know, I mean, I can easily get a bigger cup than this. But what I find is that this is the perfect size. If you want more tea, you just refill this. But I don't know, the big paint cans of tea, I don't like those anymore. I like them smaller, and then that way it retains the heat. You finish it. If you want more, you add more. I like the British style. So when are you gonna cut that pumpkin?
Maybe the day before Halloween.
Are you gonna wait that long?
Yeah, because if I cut it, then it's gonna rot quick.
Oh. Can you smell that at all?
Kinda.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you go into a barber shop looking all raggedy, beat up, older, and then the barber comes out with the shears. There's a guy does these videos, he goes all around the world, and every haircut he gets he videotapes. Well, obviously he arranges it ahead of time, and he's gone to all these interesting barbers. I'm a big fan. Got a friend of mine, his name is Kamchatko. He's been cutting hair for like 60 years. Really good.
How old is he?
No, he's old.
How old?
He's like 80 years old.
Oh, okay, so he started when he was 20.
And actually, I will say, on a side note, or not a side note, but just on an issue of interest, that I discovered this barber years ago, and I'm going to name it, Boston University Barbershop. Way back in the 80s, there was a guy in there who barely said a word. He'd give you a nod, hi, whatever, and that was it. He wouldn't have these conversations, you know, while the buzzer is going here, he's talking to you, you can't even hear him. So he wouldn't say much. And he'd sit there and he would cut hair. And I know a barber is good when he only goes to that spot once, cuts it, and then he's done, goes to the next, and he's done. A barber who's not that good keeps going back to the same spot over and over and over, trying to refine it and, you know, trying to get it right. But he was like, his technique and his skill were really, really over the top. Like, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of people that have cut hair for 20, 25, 30 years, but he was just, you know, you knew the way he grabbed your head and started cutting, you knew he was going to be good. So I would go there all the time, and then at the end he would give you like a deep scalp massage, you know, really, really like aggressive. Then he'd comb your hair and give you a nod and give him the money and you'd leave. One day I went in there and he wasn't there. It was a husband and wife, and at first I thought that he went on vacation and maybe he had these temporary people in there for, you know, whatever, for a week or so. Well, got my hair cut with them and I was not impressed. They didn't have the touch. They were okay, but not like him. And then all of a sudden, a month goes by and I'm back and they're still there. And I said, oh, something's up. And then some guy stuck his head in. He wanted a haircut and he said, hey, what happened to, and he mentions his name. I don't know if he said the other guy that used to own this place. And they said, oh, he sold it, we bought it. And I said, oh. And that was the last time I went, because they didn't have the touch. All right, that's good enough. But yeah, there's only, you know, a lot of people cut hair, but there's only a handful of people that when you sit down, you know that they're good. And he was one of them. Oh, that's delicious. That's the right size. That's the amount of water with the sugar. And I only put a teaspoon, not even full teaspoon, but a teaspoon. That's it. And this size here. Perfect. I enjoy tea. I get different varieties, but Lipton is like really good. I know there's exotic ones I buy, and they're good. Oh, now I can smell that. So yeah, beautiful day today. Not a cloud in the sky. Very good. Yeah, yesterday I was thinking about go-karts again. I'd love to get one, but for my size. And I don't know, like 10 horsepower is enough, I think. A lot of them have 3-4 horsepower. I'll go for the 10 horsepower and take it deep into the desert. And got to put bigger tires though, because desert has some craters in it, so you want to have bigger tires. And then go on the trails. There's these trails. One time I took my other daughter cooking in the desert, and as the sun started to go down, a bunch of people on these RV things, all-terrain vehicles, not RVs, and they came by, and there were maybe 7 or 8 of these things that went by our area where we were barbecuing. And they gave us the thumbs up, and and I said that's cool. And not only that, they had their whole families with them. The wife, the kids in the back, and they were going fast. So, I'd like to get a go-kart though. That's a nice breeze. Now the breeze shows up. That feels so good. When I was a kid, I would go to the barber shop and on a spring day, like what it feels like right now. And they'd have the door open, and the breeze would come in there, and you could smell that nice fragrance of a barbershop. And they always had a baseball game up on the black and white television set. And on the radio, they had a radio in there. They would play, it was the radio station, but for some reason when I would go, they would know that I was there, and the radio station would play Key Largo, which is one of my favorite tunes. It's a song you feel the heartbreak in that. But according to, what was his name, Bernie Higgins? Birdie. He said that he got the girl back after that song was released. But that's another song where you feel the emotion, and you actually feel like the heartbreak. So, yeah. What's going on, Amanda?
Tired. I want to carve it.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, in a little bit.
No, because if I carve it, then it's gonna rot.
Oh.
Because how long does it last? 5 days?
I think 5 years.
5 days.
I think it lasts longer than 5.
I know, but then if flies get to it, it starts rotting.
Yeah.
But I like carving them.
Okay, well, we can carve it, and then if it rots, we'll get you another one. No?
I don't want to carve it now. I want to grow pumpkins, though.
You got what?
I want to grow pumpkins.
A girl one?
Grow.
Oh, grow one. Yeah, that'll take 10 years. One time I tried to grow a watermelon, and this is not here. This is in a colder part of the country, but it was summertime, and I went and I got the seeds, put them in the ground, and back then I didn't know much about gardening, what you had to add to the soil to make it, robust. So I thought if you added the same stuff you added to your body to grow muscles, it would have the same effect. So I went and I bought Joe Weider protein powder. I was little back then. And I mixed a batch of it up in water, not milk, because I thought milk would be too much. So I mixed the batch up in water, and then I dug a hole and I mixed it into the soil. And then I took the seeds, I planted them, I put the soil on top, and I waited. And about, I don't know, 7, 10 days later, I saw something poke through the ground and start growing. And I was all excited. I thought I was going to grow my own watermelon. Well, time went by like it usually does, and the watermelon ended up being about that big. About that big.
Lovely.
And I said, okay, I'll leave it a little bit longer. A month went by, 2 months went by, and it just remained that size. So I said, yeah, that's not going to work. And the protein powder, didn't do a thing. As a matter of fact, maybe it even screwed up the growth process. So yeah. I notice British people, especially women, when they drink tea, they pick it up like this and the pinky sticks out. They're like, I don't know why the pinky sticks out. Today's a good day to go to a bicycle store. See, bicycles now are very expensive. They're not like my time, my time, and I thought it was expensive back then, but my father bought me a bike, $179, $179, and that was decades ago. Now, if you were to buy that same bike based on inflation, it should be like, I don't know, over $1,000 at least, but they're not. You can still buy a similar bike like that style for, I don't know, $250, $270. And what's the difference? The difference is that the bike I bought when I was a kid was made in the USA. And now the bikes are made in China, and the hourly wage is a lot less there. That's why we still can buy stuff at a cheap price. But the quality is not as good. So, but if you want a really good bike like Giant or Specialized or Trek, those bikes, you pay over 10 grand, which is ridiculous. I had a car years ago. I paid $850 for it. So paid $850 for that, and I thought back then it was crazy money. I mean, if you spend 10 grand on a car, you can get a decent used car. They used to have those signs for used car dealerships, okay.
I mean, if I saw that sign, I wouldn't want to buy an okay.
Yeah, and back then, if you saw the okay sign, you knew the car was supposed to be checked out and went through some testing, and you knew the car was good even though it was used. But it was just a gimmick. I'm a little bit hungry. You hungry?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should fry some eggs up. You want eggs? No, eggs and toast? No. Well, I'm back. We ran out of space. We got cut off abruptly. My daughter went inside. This is 15 minutes into the future from where it was a moment ago. So I'm gonna make some eggs. Probably make them out here. These candles were very important in the old days. If you had a blizzard or some kind of storm go through and knock out the power, they'd pull out the candles. Always had candles in some kind of drawer. They'd pull them out. They would be half used. Be like 4 candles in a glass or a cup. They'd light them up. You'd sit in the kitchen, and there'd be nothing to do. It's like TV wouldn't work. Radio, if you had batteries, wouldn't work. Anyway, I'm gonna go get a pan and I'm gonna make some eggs out here. Blow that out. Wow, that's nice fragrance. Very nice. Had a friend, you see the smoke here, and you know, you always want to, when it's smoke, you want to look under a microscope on a slice of smoke and see what it looks like magnified. And my friend in high school would always tell everybody that smoke was nothing more than moist dust. Moist dust. All right, I'll be right back. All right, we're back, or I'm back, and I haven't eaten today. I'm gonna make some eggs. Have some olive oil here, product of Italy, specifically Sicily, extra virgin olive oil, first cold press. That's what you want to see. So I'm gonna add a little bit in here. Good color. Start this up. The eggs, salt and pepper. Could add garlic powder, but unnecessary. They always say hit the egg flat. I don't know. So funny thing about eggs, when I was in the 6th grade, I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna try raw eggs. I'm gonna try raw eggs, and I would get up in the morning, 6th grade, I started taking a shower every day. You know, so I'd reached that age where every morning I would take a shower. And then I remember I would think in the shower, okay, now I'm going to get up and do breakfast. And the breakfast was raw egg. Now, if you think about it, I flip them, get the top done. If you think about it, one egg is very light on calories. That's not really a breakfast. I think it's like, I don't know, 80 calories for an egg. So I would have that, have some juice, and then I would take off, go to school. And then 20 minutes later, I'd be very hungry. I used to think eggs were like loaded with calories, but no. Yeah, this gets a little bit hotter than my kitchen stovetop, so they're a little bit more well done than I usually. So anyway, I would put the egg, and I had these metal glasses, metal drinking glasses, and I'd crack one in the morning. I would only do one. I wasn't like Rocky. They're doing like, you know, half a dozen, and I would you know, open up wide and let the thing go down. It felt like my throat would open up for a second to accommodate the egg. And I did that for a while. I think I did that for about a year. Not once did I get salmonella or any other kind of bacteria. I got lucky. Got lucky. So let's see what we got here. Not bad. A little bit hot, but I made it with fire, so that's understandable. It's a good meal, quick, good in protein, rich in protein. Bartana since 1916. I like to visit Sicily, but I would love to visit Ireland. Something about Ireland looks awesome. I like that top of the morning thing that they say. You know, I like the whole feel of Ireland, the atmosphere, the houses. Had Irish neighbors that were born in Ireland, and they had a way of talking. Everything had to be tidy, like the tidy ball man. And you know, they would go to Ireland every, you know, 3 or 4 years. They would go and visit. And I had a lot of Irish friends that were born in the U.S., but I also had a few Irish friends that were born in Ireland, and I enjoyed their company. You know, I listened to them talk, and one of them had the name MacDonald. He was born in Ireland, and I think his mother was one of the school nurses at my school. But yeah, always it's always in the back of my mind to visit Ireland. So it may happen, it may not. You never know. I know one place I'd love to visit. Idaho, specifically Snake River Canyon. Why? Because Evel Knievel, who was a big deal to me when I was a kid, and still today is, That's where he did that jump, the attempted jump there, the Snake River Canyon jump in the rocket. So I like to go there and visit that area and look at it, take some pictures, and because it's hard to imagine, like, if somebody is like, I don't know, 15 years old now, explaining to them how big Evel Knievel was. But Evel Knievel was a big deal, big deal. Every kid in my neighborhood would jump their bikes because of Evel Knievel. You don't see anybody jumping bikes now. I know there's big, jumpers now like Robbie Madison. There's a few, that Pastrami, what was that guy that jumped in Caesar's Palace, and he did a few of Evel Knievel's jumps back to back to back. I was there when they were setting up the ramps, actually. I was not there for the jump, though. But I was there for Robbie Knievel's jump. The last jump he did, I was there. And I was right at the front, like right where the ramps are. There was a gap, but I was right there. I was the first one there. I had my wife was there with me, but yeah. And then he gave his little speech. It was a successful jump. I was looking at it. I go, I could do that. Really, I could do that. The distance that I was looking at, I could have done that. Maybe. All right. It just didn't look to me that far. But it was, I think it was like 150 feet. But it just seemed close to me. Anyway, so he did that. It was brief. Like, I'm looking at him, and he's up in the air, he's down. It was like a second, and then he's down. And I was like, that was quick. And then he gave his little talk. Got to hear that little inspirational thing that he did. But yeah, and nobody puts cars underneath anymore. Oh, they jumped over 19 cars, 13 buses. They just measure the distance. And I think now it's over 300 feet. At the time when Evel Knievel was jumping, 120, 130, 140, 150 feet even, that was considered an extreme jump. Now that's, not that far. Now they do like 300 plus, 350, 320. They're up in the air for like 3 seconds, which is a long time to be up there without any kind of wings. But yeah, Evel Knievel. But none of them have name recognition like Evel Knievel did. No one. I don't care how far they jump. They don't have it. They don't have it. Evel Knievel had name recognition. It was the name, but it was also the fact that he was original. And he had the personality, and all that. But yeah, when I was a kid, that was a big deal. Wide World of Sports, ABC's Wide World of Sports would carry the jump. And when you were a kid, you'd get TV Guide, and you would know about the jump like, a month ahead of time. And everybody would be talking about it. I remember it would be like a Saturday or a Sunday or something, and I would be playing in my neighborhood, and then I would look at the watch, clock, and I'd say, I gotta get out of here. Evel Knievel's jumping. And then I'd go home, and I'd sit at the kitchen table with my family, and I'd be nervous for Evel Knievel. That would be like an hour show, and then he would make the jump. A lot of times he'd wipe out. My father would say, oh, he's crazy. But yeah, big fan of Evel Knievel. He made it. Awful Knaufel did not. Anyway, that's it for now. Ciao.